7-yard line. That's a great call, too. Play fake. Plummer will put it up, throws over the middle. Poole, touchdown. Quick flag.
3rd down and 5. Levitt switches to Scatterboom. Scatterboom breaks defenders. Here he goes again. Another. Scatterboom is the running back, and he is immediately met in the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure.
On this team this year. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon Compton. Welcome to 2025. Today. This one the other way. It's still going fast. That's the track. Walks up and down.
Edwards pulls off and buries it. Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Hurt 3 right on the money.
Takes his shot for Darby. Flag out. Doesn't matter. Touchdown.
What is up, my Pitchfork Lunch peeps? Happy Taco Tuesday. Yes, it is. It is Taco Tuesday here on Pitchfork Lunch. I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter, as you guys know. You can check the show out live there. Also on my wonderful IG, as you guys know. Yes, don't forget, go there too, michael.caratino.5, and check out the show live there. Plus, also, I got you hooked up on the YouTube, which you should check it out there live. You should definitely check it out there live and subscribe to the channel, though, guys. Again, you definitely want to subscribe. You want to subscribe. Yes, you want to subscribe to the channel, and anything you need to catch up on, guess what? You go catch up on. As again, season 1, season 2, as we are rolling in season 3 here. Again, forks up to that. To all of you that know. Yes, so it is absolute forks up to that. So yes, you can binge watch season 1 and season 2, catch up on interviews, all the converviews that we have had with the coaches, players, voices, insiders, alum, phenomenal athletic director. Yes, it is all there in the good old Pitchfork Lunch archive. So again, go check it out and subscribe to the channel. Again, you go to YouTube and you see my name, Michael Cartanu, but the page is when you search it, it's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005 at MVC005 on YouTube, guys, and subscribe away as like I said, you don't want to miss out because we've had a ton of con reviews and friends of the program, and it's just, again, absolute money. So yes, it is all there. It is all there, so you can watch. Again, it's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005 at MVC005 on YouTube, my friends, and subscribe. Subscribe away because you definitely, again, most definitely you most definitely should. And like I said, you'll be in the know, take you all around this beautiful, beautiful university that is my alma mater. So yes, you can, again, go to YouTube. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005 at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe away. So yesterday, we brought you Coach Shillingham's Monday presser here on Pitchfork Lunch and talked a little bit about it afterwards. Today, we are going to get to a lot. Volleyball had a phenomenal weekend, as did women's soccer. And again, I said it in the preview of the show, absolute shout out and forks up to we are, again, so stoked to have Coach Winkworth over the weekend. 250 career wins for Coach Winkworth, guys. I mean, think about that. That is, again, just absolutely phenomenal. And they get the 3-1 win over Denver and over 400 and some odd minutes of scoreless for Pauline Ellis. She absolutely, like I said, crushed it. She had 3 clean sheets in a row, so that's 270 minutes, as you know, plus another 82. Plus another 82. So that's 452 minutes. And Denver got a goal. And again, it was in the 77th minute. So she had it was 397 minutes plus 397. So basically 428 minutes. And again, I'll get the final. I will research the final number on that, but at least 428 minutes of shutout ball. The Devils scored first, the 5:35 mark. Tatum Thomason, who we heard from, again, a local kid, transferred back here to ASU, came back to Arizona, but transferred back to ASU. She had another goal. And then that was in the 6th minute. And then the next goal was not scored until the 78th minute when Denver's Brooke Ahern put one in and tied the game up. Tied the game up. And then that was in the 78th minute. In the 81st minute, just into the 81st minute, Izzy Monik put a goal in. It was assisted by Allison Baltadano and Lucy Fazackerly, pardon me. And that was in the 81st minute. And then to go up 2-1, and then to ice the game in the 86th minute, Sierra Bergen puts it in, assisted by Ava Wright, makes it 3-1. And that seals the game, gives Coach Winkworth, again, his 250th victory. So, again, Forks, up to you. Yes, Mr. 250. Winkworth earns career win number 250 as ASU beat Denver 3-1 early Sunday morning. Uh, 23rd season as a head coach, not all at ASU, obviously, but 23rd season as head coach, just earned his 250th career victory as a collegiate women's soccer coach. So then Tatum Thomason scored in the 6th minute. It was another penalty kick. And that's back-to-back matches, by the way, that Thomason had a penalty kick or scored on a penalty kick. So that being said, that was absolutely awesome. And so she in the 6th minute, and again early on, so and Izzy Monik, who's a senior defender, scored off a corner kick. She came up, obviously, time's running out. You're in the 86th minute, just into, or or 81st minute, sorry. It was loose ball, and Baltadano took the corner kick, and Monik puts it in the back of the net. Like I said, in the 81st minute, and then Sierra Bergen, like I said, slammed the door shut on any chance of Denver forcing a tie, getting a draw, anything. She beat Denver's goalkeeper following a beautiful pass from Ava Wright for ASU's 3rd goal of the match with, again, like I said, 86th minute, less than 5 minutes to go. So and Coach just, after the match said he was delighted with today's match. He goes, the number one thing was the character the girls showed after Denver equalized. A wonderful goal, which, again, Coach will give it up when it's there, by the way. But when they equalize by responding, and that goes to show the type of people we have with this program. I hope it doesn't take another 22 and a half years to get the next 250, and I hope I'm a Sun Devil all that time. So if you know Coach, again, he's no surprise he said it that. And again, you always get a little smile. I wouldn't even say Chuck, a little smile out of Coach saying it. Just because he loves it here, and he says we have wonderful girls, wonderful staff, wonderful coaches I get to work with, and most importantly, wonderful players. He said, I look forward to the next 250. So that's about all we get out of him. But like I said, we're efforting to have him on the show. So, of course, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Thomason, by the way, who, like I said, hit her second penalty kick. I was telling you guys, in as many matches, again, just absolute nails. It marks the first time that ASU has converted penalty kicks in back-to-back matches. It hasn't been that crazy long, but, and again, not that it happens that often too, but since 2021, since the 2021 season. And it's funny because ASU, the funny thing is, it doesn't happen often, but ASU did it in 3 straight matches back in 2021 against now new conference foe, Texas Tech, Colorado College, and then at UW, they also did it. And it's the first time the Sun Devils have converted a penalty kick in back-to-back home matches since September 2nd against Cal State Northridge and September 5th versus LSU during the early stages of the 2021 campaign as well. So, yes, 2021 scored a lot of goals. I know I've talked about that before, but nonetheless, so. And speaking of Nellis, she became just the 4th goalkeeper in program history to surpass 400 consecutive minutes played without allowing a goal. Nellis is the first ASU goalie, by the way, to reach that mark since, and you guys might remember Brianna Silvestri. It's been a minute, but went for 417 minutes and 55 seconds from September 5th to 19th back in 2008. Yes, I do remember that. So, yeah, that is just, again, absolutely awesome. And I'll get the final totals or final numbers on that. And they have a match there this Friday. Not again till this Friday, but they take on UTEP, who's 3-4-1 at 7 p.m. Local time here on, and it'll be on ESPN Plus. So, and by the way, the match against the UTEP, the Miners, will be the 4th match in a 7-match homestand for ASU. So, yeah, absolutely awesome. But again, forks up to you, Coach Winkworth. Again, just leading such a great program. Obviously, it's been here a minute, but forks up to Coach Winkworth. 250 wins, absolutely money. Volleyball, like I said, guys, they took care of business at their inaugural Nori Stahl Classic for honoring 2 former, and they're both Sun Devil Hall of Famers. And I mean, for Stahl, who's obviously here, was Regina Mannix. She was Stahl when she was obviously here, but she, I mean, as a setter, just had I think it held on, still has records. I have to confirm that too, because I know last year I was talking about it, but for the longest time, even when she was gone, and I mean, out of ASU and coaching at Scottsdale Community College, and it had been a minute, but she still had records. And you think of local coaches and Amanda Burbridge, who played here too, who coached at the JUCO level, high school level, club level, and obviously Elisa Stuck, Coach Stuck, who's been at Glendale Community College, won a national title, an NJCAA national title out there, but the volleyball program, again, so they take care of business as they beat Florida Gulf Coast in 4, sweep LMU in 3. Yes, a few injuries, banged up. We heard about it. We're going to hear from Coach Van Niel very shortly. We'll hear from Coach Van Niel. So yeah, Coach Van Niel has, again, just done, like I said, a hell of a job. And it's one of those things where, they take care of business against those two schools, and their record, as you guys know, they are 4-1. Their only loss this year is to, right now, it's at number 9 Pitt. Pitt was number 3 at the time. They beat Penn State, who was number 2, in the reverse sweep. They dropped the first set, took the next 3, which is phenomenal, back on August 31st. And then Pittsburgh, they took on Pittsburgh, lost 3-0 again. But then came home, beat Florida Gulf Coast, beat LMU. Now they had the Texas, where they will play at the Texas State Invitational. So they take on Texas State on a Thursday, September 11th. And then on Friday, September 12th, they take on Incarnate Word. And then they have Saturday off. And then, because that's just the 2. And then they have Saturday off. And again, Texas State and San Angelo is not that far from Austin. Then they go and they will play number 2 Texas. And guys, that's not just on Plus, that's on ESPN2. So, and that is noon local time here in Arizona. So again, number 9 right now, and very, very, very stoked for this. For this volleyball team, as they, like I said, Coach Van Niel, we're going to hear from him. So, and we'll hear from Coach Dillingham, and we'll probably hear from Coach Ward today as well. So, yes, it's again full day here on Pitchfork Lunch. But I'm going to step aside when we get back. Like I said, we'll hear from JJ Van Niel after, again, this was Sunday's win, and now as they get ready to take on Texas, like I said, Texas State. And then Incarnate Word, and then they go to number 2 Texas on a Sunday match on ESPN2. So, yeah, cannot wait for that. You talk about bomb schedule in the nation, like as an awesome, phenomenal schedule, challenging. We know Coach Van Niel's not running from that. So look forward to catching up with him soon. So anywho, but yes, they are Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. They will be in the state of Texas. So, but you can check it out. Again, the first 2 on Texas State's on ESPN Plus. Friday, I don't see anything listed for Incarnate Word, but I will let you know that could change. And then, like I said, Sunday's on ESPN2 at noon local time here. So that absolutely awesome. But hey, we're going to step aside real quick. When we get back, we're going to hear from Coach Van Niel. We're going to get into it. We're also going to hear from who else? We're going to hear from Tatum Parrott and Ella Lamangora, so who had phenomenal games on Sunday as well. So we'll hear from them. We're going to step aside. Don't go too far, and we'll talk more about Coach Winkworth's 250 in women's size, 250th career win. Forks up to you, Coach. Can't wait to talk to you about that. And yes, I echo that with you. Hopefully it does not take as long to get to the next 250. So, which again, we know you can definitely earn as you have earned these first 250. So we'll step aside and have more Pitchfork Lunch coming right up. we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, artfully known as the Twitter. Check out the show live there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. Also, you can check it out on the good old IG, michael.caratinudo.5. Yes, it is there too. And you guys, the YouTube, watch live on YouTube. But guys, when you're there watching live, subscribe to my channel. And for those of you that haven't got a chance to watch season 1 or season 2, or those of you that are, if you're binge watching and catch it up, I greatly appreciate it. Forks up to you, because again, a lot of repeat guests we will have, and even that first week, kick it off with a long time. Well, he's associate athletic director of sports information, but longtime sports information director, award-winning Doug Tamaro. So yes, absolute money. There. So, started off with him, had AJ Cooper on, talked to Coach Cooper. We've had Coach Regal come on before the game against NAU. So, yes, it is going to be it is going to be, again, there's so many coming, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it as we get more into, obviously, seasons and teams. And, again, whether we get out to swimming, track and field, men's golf, women's golf, tennis. Yes, got to do a better job, get out to tennis, gymnastics, obviously women's volleyball, indoor and beach, softball, lacrosse, baseball. Going to bring it to you here on Pitchfork Lunch. You guys know that. So, anyway. Done with the PSA there, but again, YouTube, it's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005, at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe away. But yeah, so we're gonna hear from Coach Van Niel. So yes, let's not be bashful. I will not be bashful. So, yes, without further ado, here is Coach Van Niel Sunday after, again, the awesome 3-set sweep over a very, very feisty and just feisty but scrappy, playing good defense. Let's say ASU defense. There's some awesome points. I might show you later. So we'll see. Probably see throughout the week. But anyway, without further ado, here is Coach Van Niel after Sunday's win and rolling through the Nori Stahl Classic.
Another fun crowd today. We had almost 3,000, so that was really exciting on a Sunday preseason match. So that energy helps our team, and I think they were really fired up by all the kids that were there and all the fans that were there. It was good execution, bad execution at times, but I thought we did a nice job of kind of settling in when things weren't going well. Tatum really had a nice night tonight, and obviously KP, she's off to get stitches, but it's pretty cool to see her tough it out, and got her face cut and went, and they put a couple of butterflies on it, and she finished the match. That was kind of cool to see. Hopefully our hockey guys are okay. Same as hockey, All right, questions?
What did Loyal Marymount do to get your team kind of out of system or out of sorts? What did they do to keep the sets close?
Their serving was good, and they were doing a nice job serving deep. And I think we, in that first set, I think we got ace like 4 times. Most of them were probably out. So I think it took a minute for us to get adjusted to kind of how they were serving. They were kind of mixing up some stuff. So they did a much better job than we did serving, and that ultimately kept them in the game. Then there was a few things that I think were a little self-inflicted on our part that we got to still clean up. So we got a lot of work to do. Some funky lineups when KP went out. We had to go 5-1 with Jill, and we're throwing a lot of stuff at them because I thought we did a nice job of battling back and kind of figuring out a solution to some stuff. So.
Do you think your team was better adjusted today after having a full match on Friday without Noemi and being able to have Kalaya in for the majority of the match compared to what you saw the first 3 sets of the Friday match?
Yeah, when Noemi was out, we didn't have much time to prep, so it's kind of a new lineup, new roles. Obviously, KP had a nice night as well. yeah, she had 357. So, and she was out for a bit. So I thought she did a nice job, and I think she's getting more comfortable. Everyone else is getting more comfortable, maybe having to pick up and add a little more to our offense. Tatum had a really nice night. Bailey had 11 kills. So yeah, I think they definitely were keying on our middles, so we weren't able to get the middles of the ball as much. But I thought the other people stepped up. I mean, Jill came in. Jill's never played on the right in her life, and she had almost 300. That's just Jill being Jill, is what we always say. Because you kind of throw in whatever, she just doesn't get faded by anything.
Sydney had 26 assists, and she's obviously been really good in that category this year. Is that something that she has worked especially hard on, or something that comes pretty natural to her? What's been the process to get her as good as she's been in the early season?
It was nice to have her in the spring. I think she's still learning how to run our system. She's obviously never run anything like it in the past. She also has to understand sometimes she's going to run 5-1, sometimes she's going to run 6-2, and I think for setters it's hard to come off the bench. You've got to get used to doing that. So she's worked really hard. I thought she worked really hard in the spring and really hard this summer to kind of be prepared. So she's getting there.
And then when you look at, some of the longer points, in this match today you won, but defensively to this point in the season, how do you feel that the team's coming along?
I think we're doing some pretty good things blocking. I think we got some areas where we can still clean some stuff up defensively in the backcourt, and we're kind of finding some stuff out again. We have a lot of new kids and just a new system, we'll continue to get there. But I think we've been holding teams to pretty low hitting efficiencies, which is one of the goals of our season. And Loyola Marymount we held to below 150 tonight. I think we did something similar against FGCU. And if you can hold teams down, then you have a good shot at winning. We still got to clean up our serve pass game a bit. But.
And then I know you mentioned obviously like Jillian playing the right side, but just what have you seen from her to where she gets to go out there and play it, but just she seems very comfortable doing it.
Yeah, she just doesn't get fazed by anything, and we learned that our freshman year. We had a big run that freshman year, her freshman year, my first year here, and she was a true freshman, and we realized really early on that she goes back in the service line, and I don't know, sets on the line or whatever. She just I don't know. She's like a great closer. Just doesn't remember anything in the past. She just goes in and is really hyper focused. She's always on assignment. Even today, and even when we threw her in against FGCU, like she wouldn't have prepared for blocking assignments for the right side blocker. She had no idea she would be doing that, and then she always knew what she was supposed to do, and that's Jill. She's a true professional.
Also, how's the team been coming along? You losing a bunch of your starters from last year. How have they come together and as a team?
I think culturally everything's been great. It's a fun group to be around. We have our team meal. Everything we do together is really enjoyable. So I think they do a really good job of that. The people that left set up kind of what our standards are and like how we do what we do. And everyone just continues to keep pushing that forward, so that's been really nice. I think we still got some work to do because we got new players playing next to each other, especially in service E. We got some stuff we got to clean up there, but otherwise it's been great.
How special is it to have Jelly still on your staff?
Well, it's awesome because obviously she's been with me from the start. She's the remaining person that's around that was here from when we started this thing. January of 23, so she knows me really well. We have a very tight relationship, and I think it helps having her because she kind of knows what we do, how we do it, and it's been great having her. So.
And you hear from JJ Fan Neal there again, talking about Jillian Neal again. Like I said, her now getting to play with her sister Colby is absolutely awesome. Who transferred, as you guys know, from Oregon. But yeah, plays the right side. Put on a libero jersey last week. Serves like a just absolute beast, as you know, Sun Devil fans. So I mean, that's, like I said, in and of itself, so very awesome, because Jillian Neal, again, total big time there. And but yeah, I mean, Jillian Neal, the fact that they're getting to play with her sister and the transfers, and like you heard there, Noemi out. She was out Friday night. Had to get used to playing, and they moved it around. Bailey Miller, stepped up, obviously, at the net, but they were moving the ball around too. And it was Kyla Presley. She just, hitting on the outside, just crushing it, absolutely crushing it. So, yes, it was a little bit of a different team from the last 2 years. Last year was different than the year before, but not so crazy as different. There's a lot of returners, but this year, again, with graduation, players that graduated, and and Jelly Sear obviously back on the staff with Coach Van Niel. Like he said, his first year here, she was here. So yeah, so very interesting. That is in and of itself. Like I said, for her to be on the staff, it's interesting just because, again, just coming off it, knowing what Coach wants, and now, seeing things from the other side. So that's, like I said, in and of itself, very awesome. And Coach Van Niel, and actually had a little bit more to say. So yes, here is the rest of what Coach Van Niel had to say.
What did you tell your team during timeouts that kind of kept them composed, that they let them finish the job? Most timeouts are the same. It's really about what are things we might need to clean up and what's going to happen next. So it's really trying to get them focused on forget everything that just happened. This is the next play, or inside out. This is how we're defending it. To try to get them thinking forward to the future, not worry, or the next play, not worrying about that. So I think we try to do that, not be reactive, because you can't go back in the past. And so usually those timeouts are just kind of, hey, what are our next defensive plays? Even if we have to side out first, it's reminding them we're going to side out, and then we have to go do this. And that, I think, helps, because you're just worried about, all right, let's make sure we stay on assignment.
There I am. Yeah. So Coach Van Niel there, again, wanted to get that in, talking about timeouts too, because you just, adjustments. Like sometimes, there was a few challenges, and that took a minute. And I did think it was interesting how Loyola Marymount challenged the last play. That there was a violation at the net. That's how set and match point was won for the Devils on Sunday. But, he thought it may have been close. But at the same time, made it work just because might as well say it was close and challenge it. Who knows? Like I said, maybe you get lucky. So, and they make the call, and so all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, guess what? So yes, that's, like I said, very stoked. And for some reason, I'm in difficulties with Tatum Parrott and Ella Lamangora sounds. So if that should come through, but yes, we're going to hear from Coach Dillingham after practice today. Yeah, because he talks about obviously still wraps up Mississippi State, but basically on to Texas State, guys. So yes, let's hear from Coach Dillingham again. 1-1 out of the top 25. They shouldn't be. I'll attack that after we hear Coach's sound. After we hear Coach's sound from, like I said, today's practice. Oops. So, here's Coach Dillingham after practice today. Again, wrapping up Mississippi State, what went on, and also looking forward to Texas State.
Audible. Coach, what did you think of practice today? It's a pretty good day. You guys came back out to work, good energy. It's Tuesday. They do a lot of good things offensively, schematically. Quarterback run game, the passing game is really good. This quarterback's a really, really good player. Quarterback, wide out, running back, they got a bunch of good players. So it was, learning experience today with some of the things they do. But it was a good day, good work, and on offense, I thought it was good work.
You have a new quarterback, so what challenges are presented by that?
Yeah, he's athletic. He can throw the ball down the field. He made a play last week where he was working up in the pocket, almost running forward, launched the thing 55 yards on a dot to a dude who runs 10-4. Walk-off touchdown, essentially. Their explosive play rates to the roof.
When you're building the identity of an offense, how much of it is the players you have going into the season, and how much is it what you see on the field? How do you strike that balance?
Players we have, I think to me that's kind of the same, right? On the field and players we have, to me, I think it's the same. So everything should be built around the players, right? You should always build everything on the players. You learn about your players in season. I mean, that's the best teams get better throughout the season, right? Not worse. So that's our goal every year, is from week 1 to week 12, be the better version of ourselves. So I think good staffs, good teams, learn who they are, tweak things, and then become better throughout the year. So I think that's how you try to build an offense.
Coach, you talked yesterday about trying to get Sam in a rhythm early. How do you do that?
Yeah, I just think we got to give them some easy completions early, or a big play down the field early. Something that gets them, going. We've struggled to get them going, and like I said, that's on me. I gotta find better ways to get them going. So I think there's really 3 to 4 ways. A quarterback run gets a quarterback going sometimes if you're feisty, right? And he's a feisty dude. So there's so many different ways to get a quarterback going. We just got to do one of those 4 to 5 or 4 ways in my mind to get him going.
Conversations you've had with him the last couple of days any different?
No. Oh, I mean, I know externally, I get it. That's everybody's job, right? It's the nature of sports. Things are either great or they're horrible. There's no such thing as like the middle. They're like the same. We just talked about it. The key is the monotony, to fall in love with the monotony. Good, bad, you gotta love the process and love the monotony of a college football season to get better every week. You can't be, I'm an emotional dude, but when I show up on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I don't have that when I'm assessing our football team. I'm assessing our team by what things can we do better at, and then you go out there and try to do it. And if you don't get better at it, then that's not good. If you get better at it, positive.
What was the reason for the crowd
Hey, you guys,
being pumped up?
one more
Defense.
question. One more question. Okay.
Defensive communication.
Kenny, their offense seems incredibly balanced. What are your main concerns with Texas State's offense?
Yeah, the explosive play rate down the field. And then they get explosive runs with the quarterback in the +1 run game. They run flat read, counter, flat read, power read. Anytime that you're a football team and will run your quarterback on P and 10, 1st and 10, that changes the number count, right? The math is off, right? So now everything has to be treated different. You have to have a plan for that. So we're preparing for a plan for a +1 run game. We have pretty good run defense, and their most explosive runs are majority +1 runs. Their running back's really good too, though. I mean, he doesn't get tackled negatively ever. He always gains yards. So we got to be able to limit explosive plays.
You guys good?
And you heard Kenny Dillahan right there talking about, how the team stepped up, things they could do, and, hindsight, because, things that they could correct. But moving on, Texas State, and like I said, yes, they do have a new quarterback, and I just grazed briefly, but yeah, just kind of, I guess you could say, cliff noted some highlights and all that good stuff with Texas State and their quarterback. So absolutely money, to say the least. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, you look at what they did against Mississippi State, guys. Look, I mean, the 3 big plays. Coach talked about it yesterday. Coach talked about it yesterday. We heard. But it's but you look at, I mean, final stats. I mean, you look at the total. I mean, look, net yards, ASU 333, Mississippi State 345, rushing yards, ASU 251, guys. So I mentioned that yesterday, how, again, they ran the ball. Yes, they only did have 82 passing yards, but they outrushed Mississippi State, who, again, offensive run is predicated off of the run game. Yes, they hit 3 big plays, but I mean, you look at I mean, you look at the 8th play, they were on the ASU 48, a 52-yard, or 48-yard, sorry, not their 48, the ASU 48 touchdown pass that Blake Shapen hooked up with Anthony Evans, the third. Again, just kind of a blown coverage. And we'll hear from Coach Ward later in the week about that. And, just obviously Texas State. So actually we'll hear from Coach Ward tomorrow. I say later in the week, but tomorrow is later in the week, right, guys? So, but yeah, I mean, you look at that, and you had a 48-yard touchdown pass. Then you had a 47-yard touchdown pass, which again should have been a chop block, because engaged or not, and look, I said this a million times. Could they have gone on to score a touchdown? Absolutely. Mississippi State could have. Could they have turned the ball over the next time? Who knows? Could ASU have maybe held them to a field goal? Is it a turnover? I mean, yes. But you don't give ASU that opportunity to find out, and it was that's the disgusting part to me, because it was a chop block. And again, shoe on other foot. If it was the SEC team that didn't get that call, oh my goodness, the eruption from their fans and, national media. I did see Danny Cannell post today, by the way, because ASU dropped out of the top 25 as well, too. And I'll get more into that as we get closer to the end of the week. And obviously Texas State here this Saturday, guys, at Mount America Stadium. So you want to get out here for that. Yeah, I mean, and you look at sacks. I mean, ASU, by the way, had another 3 sacks this game. Mississippi State did have 2. But, yeah, I mean, you look at it, and 3 big plays of 48, 47, and 58 yards. I mean, so 95. So that's 153 yards, right? Of on the big plays. Again, breakdowns. Football, it happens, as we all know. So it's actually 213 yards. Sorry, 213 yards. 213 yards on big plays alone, right? And you think about that, right? Here's the crazy part. So you think about that, and Mississippi State, you're talking, and there are 3 plays that count. It happened. I'm not going to talk out both sides of my mouth, but I'm saying 3 plays that aren't always going to happen that be covered, but 213 yards, and that would be 132 total yards that Mississippi State had. I mean, think about that. And rushing wise, like I said, 66 yards rushing. That rush defense by the Devils, absolutely insane. So, look, the eye test of this game, yes, there were some blown coverages. There's a blown coverage. It happens, but the defensive line, I mean, with Clayton Smith had 2 sacks, and you look at the way Keyshawn Elliott playing at linebacker. I mean, Rodney Bimage, coming in a corner, rotating in a corner, had a heck of a game. Javen Robinson, that's bad. Keith Abney, big hit. But and then offensively, like I said, it took Sam Levin a minute to settle down, and he mentioned that. We'll hear from him tomorrow as well. But it took a little bit for him to settle down, and then on top of that, yeah, it's one of those things where it's frustrating because you see that and it's like, okay, the 3 plays that took up a ton of yards. Yes, they were the explosive plays, they were big plays, but for the run defense, the way it played, and look, this defensive line, I know, yes, Pitchfork Hunters, you know me, yes, offense is important, but I love defense, but what they had coming back, starting with the defensive line up front, the linebackers, then you go into the secondary, and it's just, man, absolutely. That's why I've been, like I said, pounding the table and shouting to the mountains on this since the spring, because you could see it. And, you got guys on the inside like CJ Fight, Jacob Rich Kangaika, who we, have talked to here. Then outside, Prince Dorba, Clayton Smith, Elijah O'Neal coming on. Ramar Williams inside had a heck of a game too, and he's a true freshman. I want to say. So, yes. But 7:30 p.m., by the way, Saturday, Texas State, they're here. And, yeah, they got down. Hey, we'll talk about what happened last year. We'll talk about more about this Texas State team as the week goes on. But, yeah, and, again, getting guests too. We're going to work on guests and have all that. Love to catch up with Coach Winkworth after 250. And then maybe even again, we'll see. But got to get Coach Winkworth on and chat with him and go from there. So nonetheless. But yeah, I mean, look, ASU fell out of top 25, guys. I'm just going to wrap it on this. It's an absolute joke. And yes, the AP is a joke. And that game was early enough to where it shouldn't have fallen out. They're on the road. They get down 17-0. Oh, but they go on a 20-0 run. They dominate the run defense, like I said. And Mississippi State, they're leading. They take the lead. They're very close to winning the game, as we saw. Again, doesn't count. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. And you know me, I'm not going to be like other conference schools fans about this. Like, teams lost the week before and went down, and then teams that won didn't move, and then teams that won went down too. And then all of a sudden ASU loses a close, insane game on the road in that atmosphere. And yeah, Mississippi State will be better than they were last year, just eye test of what I saw. And but ASU falls out of the top 25. They're at 26 in the AP. And that's why it's a freaking joke. It's pathetic and it's a joke. And then you say, well, they didn't win the game. Well, Alabama blew out some terrible, just directional school. They jumped 2 spots. Ohio State played Grambling, and they're at number 1. They went to number 1 from beating Texas. No, they should have dropped, actually, because the Grambling, they scored 77 points. Penn State should be up at number 1. Georgia, look at their state right there. Like, the AP, it's an absolute joke. And you're going to punish ASU for going on the road, again, for a bad half. Oh, but when Alabama or somebody doesn't have, or Georgia, they don't have a bad half. Like, you got to be kidding me. So, but look, you take care of it on the field. Coaches will always talk me off the ledge, like Coach Regal, friend of the program, Coach Dillingham, just in conversation with him, being around him for a while. Coach Ward, like, they talk you off the edge, but it's just an absolute joke. It's absolutely pathetic that. And then when you look at the AP rankings, by the time the college football playoff rankings come out, like, yeah, I know they look at that, like, they're kind of similar. Like, it shouldn't be. Like, say ASU, and I picked them to go 11-1. I'll wrap it on this, guy. Say the Sun Devils went out, go 11-1. If they're not in the top 5 in the country at 11-1, again, that's a big if. I'm just saying, I will be reaching out and just going at, more so the college football playoff ranking, because that in and of itself is. But the AP, I will absolutely trash. I have no problem having a civil conversation, having anybody regional on, but inevitably, like, it's just absolutely pathetic how other teams, again, get rewarded, and everybody, for all the money this day and age, they get this, they get that, like, ridiculous. So, but yeah, they shouldn't be. But it's early. Let them play the game. The game's got to be played. I'm going to try and be calm, but I still can say it's absolutely pathetic, as it has been. And yeah, just again, not a big fan. So of the AP, the coaches poll actually still has ASU in the rankings or the SIDs polls. I call it here on Pitchfork One. So, but hey, that's going to do it for today. We'll see. Maybe if we have a guest for tomorrow. Hopefully it can happen. We can make that happen. But yes, I'll be back tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Again, at Diablo00 on X, formerly known as the Twitter. Again, any comments, any thoughts, anything, hit me up there, man. Don't be bashful, because I would, again, hit me up. If you think there's something I'm missing, you got an idea, whatever, I want to know. I want to know, because yes, it's, again, we're Sun Devils, we're in Pitchfork, we're in Sun Devil Nation together. And if you've been here, and again, go back and binge watch, you will see, again, the circumference of the show. But yes, aim for guests tomorrow, and we shall go from there. But anyway, have a nice rest of your phenomenal Taco Tuesday. Again, a little spice, put a little jalapenos in there, maybe a little Tabasco, sriracha, Frank's Red Hot, whatever, like little spice, get some, in the tacos. That's how I'm a big fan of it that way. So anywho, but have a phenomenal rest of your Tuesday. I will see you tomorrow. Like I said, same bad time, same bad channel. And as you guys know, hashtag our state from the reigning Big 12 volleyball or champs from volleyball, women's volleyball, reminding me last year that it is hashtag our state, which again is true, especially when dealing with that school down south. And you guys know it. Go Devils. And as always, Forks up.
I went to Arizona State. Right. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
The 27-yard line. That's a great call. Play fake. Plummer will put it up. Throws over the middle. Pool touchdown. Quick flag.
3rd down and 5. 11 swings it to Scatterboom. Scatterboom breaks defenders. Here he goes again.
He's got to be with the running back, and he is immediately met in the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure.
Revenge on this defense here. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon Compton. Welcome to 2025.
Edwards pulls up and buries it. Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Hurt 3 right on the money.
Takes his shot for Darby. Flag out. Doesn't matter.